powers must act together because if we're not at the table, we're on the menu.
Somewhere Europe has to grow out of the mindset that Europe's problems are the world's problems, but the world's problems are not Europe's problems.
चुन चुन करके हिसाब लेना ये मेरी फितरत है.
Why should it be a problem if I'm smart enough to have multiple options? You should be admiring me.
भारत झुकने वाला भी नहीं.
The rise of India will be determined by India. It will be determined by our strength, not by the mistakes of others.
The old order is not coming back. We shouldn't mourn it. Nostalgia is not a strategy.
Hey guys, welcome to my channel, and something very big is coming. It just happened. A deal, that is, President Trump has approved a 30-year nuclear deal with Saudi Arabia, which is worth tens of billions of dollars to develop nuclear infrastructure. It is sort of kind of like a civil nuclear deal. Let me actually share my screen real quick, okay? Right here, okay? Now, what it says is that Trump approves nuclear agreement that may follow Saudi Arabia to enrich uranium. Okay, now President Trump has approved an agreement with Saudi Arabia that could potentially provide the kingdom with uranium enrichment capability for its civil nuclear program, according to two people familiar with the matter. Now, I'm not gonna get into the whole entire news here, but there are lots and lots of things that we need to talk about here. Okay, so stay with me till the end. Please do like and subscribe, and let's get going and let's move forward. Now, so what's happening is that this 30-year civil nuclear deal has been signed under Section 123 Civil Nuclear Cooperation Agreement. This was something that was started by Lyndon Johnson back in the day. Okay, so what it does is that it creates a legal framework for American companies to supply Saudi Arabia with reactors, nuclear equipment technology, fuel cycle services, training and technical assistance, and all that. Okay, it's not a nuclear weapons agreement and does not automatically mean that US is building Saudi enrichment facilities. But here's the problem though. See, Saudis have been asking for this for quite some time now. Under Biden administration, Joe Biden had simply declined or denied this thing, and this is why Saudi Arabia was basically not very happy with the US. Okay, so US Saudi relationship was not doing very well, and Saudis were saying that if Iran will have nuclear weapons or can have nuclear weapons, then Saudis definitely want something like that, or they were saying that they wanted a defense agreement, full-fledged defense agreement with American nuclear umbrella. That's what Saudis were saying, that either you give us your nuclear protection, that if somebody tries to attack us or nuke us, then you will go and nuke them. That's number one thing. Or let us enrich the let us enrich the uranium and make the nuclear weapon. So in this deal, and this is right now gonna be actually presented into the pushed into the Congress. First, it has to be passed in the House, then Senate, all that. So all that good stuff has to be done. This is just a formal paperwork that has been signed so that it can be pushed into the Congress. Okay, so deal has not been officially signed yet. So process has been initiated. Okay, now, so in this agreement, the current agreement where Saudis are very happy about it is the Saudis are not required to permanently renounce uranium enrichment or spend fuel reprocessing. Okay, so they can, meaning that they can enrich the uranium, and also it is also reported that they're not required to adapt IAEA additional protocol, which allows sort of more intrusive inspection. So everything will be under US inspection. That's what is being done, meaning that the reason that America is bombing Iran right now is they are just allowing Saudis to do the same thing. They are actually planning to help Saudis to do the same thing. So question really is that why would you do that? It means that you are already, then Donald Trump, I think, is a criminal straight up, because if you're doing this thing, then you are who you are. Okay. Now, so another thing about this whole entire deal is that uh, joint American and Saudi study could eventually examine Saudi enrichment facility. Okay, they're gonna, and we all know that if Americans are going to examine the Saudi enrichment facility, then uh, how much honest will that be? Only God knows, right? Okay. Now, lots and lots of media, like for example Reuters or AP News or CNN and all these, they're reporting these type of things. Okay, we don't know, we haven't seen, nobody has actually seen the actual paperwork yet. Okay, and I really don't trust this media, Reuters and all that. So I'm gonna take this whole thing by the grain of salt. All right. So but the question now is this. Let's move on to the next thing. Next thing is the why would US actually allow something like this and put Israel at risk? See, simple thing is this. Whether it is Iran that has nuclear weapons, or whether Saudi Arabia has nuclear weapons, whether Jordan has nuclear weapons, or Bahrain or Qatar has nuclear weapons, it doesn't really matter. Bottom line is that it puts Israel at risk. It's that simple. So the question really is, number one, if Israelis are going to like it, and what are Israelis going to do about it? That's number one thing, okay? Number two is that why would US do this thing? Okay? So first risk is that Saudi Arabia, let's say, develops this program with America. So what US probably think tank probably had this thing in mind, that their idea was that if this civil nuclear deal is signed with Saudi Arabia, then there are multiple benefits to it. Number one benefit is that uh, with US civil nuclear deal, Saudis are locked in with US nuclear reactors, US fuel, uranium, all that good stuff, and US oversight and all that. In a way, you can say that it will be under US control. Now, that's number one point. That's their thought process. That's American thought process probably. Second thing is this, that uh, Saudis have been putting lots of money into America's AI program and other securities market and this and that. So the concern has been that it's going to impact dollar. Let's say if Saudis decide to walk away, or because there is no civil nuclear deal or anything, and US denies all that, then Saudis may simply walk away and say that, okay, we are going with Chinese or Russians or whatnot, and we are done. We are not going to have any kind of deal with you. In that situation, Saudis may simply decide to uh, accept other currencies too. Right now, they're exclusively, I think, they're accepting dollar as far as oil sale is concerned. Even though now oil sale has started in your local currencies as well, but Saudis are still maintaining that their end of the bargain. Okay, so US will have one thing. FPI is foreign portfolio investments are not gonna, from Saudis, Qatar, and Bahrain, are not gonna come into US. That's number one thing. Second thing will be that Saudis may actually reject the dollar as their currency of sale, petrodollar system, basically. So the way I'm looking at it is that these are some of the concerns that US had, and they figured that if we give them nuclear deal, then it's best this way, not best, but this way Saudis will stick with them rather than going with Chinese or Russians or somebody else. So, so these were, and the second thing is that Israel may be at risk, but for US, the current American economic concerns, current problems, current the upcoming AI bubble, right? If you notice that America is going to face very serious AI bubble. Now, some of you will be like, oh, okay, what I'm talking about. See, AI bubble will be so bad that it may actually, the way I'm looking at it is that it may collapse American economic infrastructure completely. Some of you will be like, why? See, the problem with America is not that AI doesn't have quality. I can guarantee you it. Top notch. Top notch. Okay. Problem is not quality. Problem is the trust deficit with Americans. Okay. That's number one problem. Number two problem is the population. So most of the American companies actually what they're doing is that behind the scenes, whenever they develop some AI related application and all that, what they do is that they use Chinese APIs. They make the API call they make is those are all Chinese. For example, DeepSeek or GLM or something, okay? And so and because they're very cost effective, they're very cheap. Whereas American AI companies offer very costly APIs. So, and this is once again, this has been Chinese tactics to win the market, and then after that, Chinese they increase the prices of their products. So this is what they do. So they what they're trying to do is that they are trying to capture the American market, the AI market, that is. So when they will keep the API cost low, then even smaller countries like countries in Africa and all, then other developing countries, they will also use it. And then last, and most of the American companies right now are using Chinese API, which means that the amount of money that American API AI companies are dumping into their infrastructure and all that, they won't be able to recover that money. And when they won't be able to recover that money, then guess what's going to happen? They will lose money, right? They will lose money. So you will see lots and lots of companies start to shut down. Okay. And right now, pretty much you name it, every security, every bond, every FPI that's coming from Middle East and all that is going into what? AI infrastructure. And then 401k and all that is also retirement, 401k, social security, all that money is being dumped into AI. And when they lose that, then guess what? Last and last of people are going to lose 401k, and last of people are going to lose their stock market. And this is why, if you notice that S&P 500 and all that, they simply declined Elon Musk because the valuation and all that, they said that it's all fake, there is no guarantee for recovery and all that. Okay, anyways, coming back to the point. So the point in case is that these are the reasons why US probably allowed Saudis to do this thing. Okay. And so long story short, a Saudi nuclear program dependent on America is less dangerous than independent Saudi program dependent on America's rivals, you know. So that's the calculation, and this calculation could still prove wrong. Now some of you may ask very simple question, then why not give Iran a civil nuclear program using American technology? And Iran already has enriched all that uranium, so utilize that enriched uranium into the into the civil nuclear program, instead of asking, bombing Iran and asking Iran that, hey, give us the nuclear uranium, give us the uranium, doing all that, right? See, the problem is that um, for America to continue to do these things, they need one enemy over there. Okay, so in this situation, Iran is that enemy, and Iran will stay enemy until Iran gives up its oil control to the American, just like the US has been stealing Iraq's money and Iraq's oil they have been controlling. What they do, they take that Iraq's oil, the money that comes from Iraq's oil sale, that money goes into Federal Reserve Bank account. A bank account, they have opened a bank account in one of the Federal Reserve Bank's branches, and they have called that account name is Iraq Central Bank. They have called that account Iraq Central Bank, and all the Iraqi oil sale money goes into that. So they made so unless Iran allows them to do all that thing, they're not going to allow Iran to have civil nuclear program or anything. It was never about the Iran's nuclear program or any such thing. It was always about controlling Iran. Why? Because controlling Iran protects the dollar. That's the whole thing. Because otherwise, Iran becomes a perfect alternative to Saudis, Qataris, and Bahrain and all that. Because Iran has natural gas and Iran has crude. So there is that. Okay. So all in all, with this whole thing, what is the equation for the Middle East gonna look like down the line? Okay. Uh, so the way US power is declining, okay, the way US power is declining, I think that first thing is Israelis are not going to be very happy about this. And down the line, the way American power is declining, I think that if Israelis feel some risk, then Israelis may actually come up with a way to mend their relationship with Iran, basically with the concept that, enemy of my enemy is my friend, that concept. So they may actually mend that relationship and Iran may agree to it. Why? Because if you look into the region, then Israelis are pretty much isolated. I mean, yeah, they have good relationship with, not good, but all right relationship with UAE. They have all right relationship with Jordan and Egypt, but Jordan and Egypt have signed their peace treaty with Israel. And UAE is an Abraham Accord. So, but Israel doesn't have anything with Iran, and Israel doesn't have any kind of treaty or any Abraham Accord or anything with Saudis either. And Saudis have been working with Turkey and Pakistan to form some sort of Islamic NATO. So Israelis are sort of, in a way, they are isolated, okay, in that region. And same thing is situation with Iran as well if you remove the proxies. So the way I'm looking at it is that with US power declining and they will realize that they cannot control anything or maintain anything in that region. So Israelis may actually join hands with Iran, UAE, India. They have already a defense pact with India, and eventually all they may work together through Abraham Accord, some sort of peace treaty or something. I cannot tell you exactly how they're going to do this, but ultimately for Israel, I think the best bet would be to mend their relationship with Iran and forget about controlling Iranian oil or something. And I think that's how it's gonna play out. And by the way, I also looked into again that Iran deal grants access to nuclear inspectors. That's what IAEA chief is saying. But with Saudi Arabia, that won't be the case. Like very tight one. Okay, so that's another double standard that's there. Okay. So ultimately, the conclusion of this whole thing is that American technology and supervision can supposedly make Saudi enrichment safe. That's what US side is thinking. Then a strictly monitored American civil nuclear offer should also be possible for Iran too. But we don't know how that's gonna play out. Let's see. Okay, so this is it for this video, guys. I hope you learned something. Please do like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys in another video.